here with my father Norman Storlie, and we're looking at his pictures that were taken of him during his experience in World War II. I think the caption originally said you relaxing in New Guinea, but you're in front of a standard tent, right?
Is that kind of a deluxe tent?
So what that meant, you'd been staying there a while? Were you able to carry a lot of that stuff from airfield to airfield once you got...
Well, the tent canvas itself.
Yeah, but I mean all the stuff that you had inside. Didn't you have special personal gear that...
Oh yeah.
You always had this 13th Attack Squadron sign out in some place on the airfield, or
Off the main road into the area.
And then you're in front of your tent again, but who were you with?
It's Don Fisher
And where was he from?
from down in Wisconsin.
And how long was you the whole tour also? The whole...
Yeah, he was one of the regulars out of the headquarters squadron.
Oh, okay.
They're going or coming
From where?
from Innisfail
Okay.
up the coast of Australia.
And there's you with your Clark Gable mustache.
Yeah.
The Japanese flag, was that yours, or was that just one that someone gave you to take a picture with?
Just a borrowed flag, I guess.
That's the 3rd Attack Group, but then the Grim Reapers. So, where was that field, do you know?
Probably at the same place.
What was the truck used for? It looks like it has a crane on it.
A hoist truck. We would use it for when we changed motors.
Is that air crew that you worked with, the ground crew that you worked with?
Yeah.
Do you remember their names?
Well, that's John Nagy, and there's Don Fisher, and that's me, and Cicento, and Siciliano.
Okay, so Nagy's on the upper right, and Fisher's in the middle top.
Yep.
And then
Siciliano,
on the lower right, and who's on the left?
Cicento,
Cicento. So where were they from? Do you remember?
from out east.
Now, were you all in the same tent together then, as part of
Yeah.
the ground crew? So it was 5 of you in the tent, or was there more?
5.
Natives in New Guinea?
Native, yeah. Red skirts.
Were they around a lot, or was that just a village near the base?
Near the village. There's an engine change.
So you would take the crane then and hoist it into position, slide it into place? How often did you have to change engines?
Well, after they got so many hours and they lost power, I had to change.
Or battle damage?
Yeah, battle damage.
Who's this?
That's Michael Bagley and this Wallaby.
Okay, so that would have been in Charters Towers then?
Yeah, I think so.
Did he have a pet every place he stopped?
No, he only had the one pet.
Okay. Later on there's pictures of him and his monkey, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And that's fairly tropical stuff behind you. But you're in a civilian shirt.
No, I don't think it's not a civilian shirt. Suntan, I think, but it probably,
So then that's an A-20.
let's say A-20.
What does the K in the back mean? Is that part of your group, or is that just somebody else's plane?
That's the letter I had on all my airplanes.
Okay, that your crew took care of?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, were they all part of the 13th Squadron then?
Yep.
The K? Did Mervyn also work on A-20s?
Well, he worked down in the depot down in Townsville,
Okay.
and he was installing guns and armament equipment.
Okay. Later on, when you switched from B-24s or B-25s to A-20s, were they coming from the States already set up with guns at that point, or did they have to have a layover for armoring?
They stripped down, and then you had to put the guns and everything in.
Okay, so they just came basic airframe.
Yeah.
Now, did you do any of the armoring on base, or was that always done like where Mervyn worked?
That was done where Mervyn worked.
Okay. Did the A-20 have the same engine as the B-25? Or was it a little smaller?
It's a little smaller.
Okay. And they couldn't carry the same weight, could they?
No,
A little faster?
they were faster and more maneuverable.
Okay. They were all pretty loud, weren't they?
Yeah.
Leonard Vick, you remember him? He said he flew B-25s at the end of the war, and that's how he lost some of his hearing. Because as a pilot, the engine's exhaust was right next to your ears.
There's a Jap airplane that
With American markings?
has American markings on it.
Okay.
They salvaged it out of the boneyard.
So they took many different parts and made one plane?
Yeah. Picked the best looking one and
Okay.
fixed it up.
And who is this?
That's Milo Bagley.
And he's from Blackhammer, right?
Blackhammer.
Did you know him before?
Yeah.
Did you guys get shipped together? Did you get drafted together, or he came later?
I'd been over there for at least 3 years before
Oh, really?
he came around.
Okay.
There's his monkey.
His monkey. Now, where did he get that then? In New Guinea, or
I don't know how he got a hold of it.
did he trade somebody for it?
I can't remember how he got a hold of it.
Was he part of your ground crew, or was he somebody else's?
He was in a medic squadron,
Oh.
medic section
Okay.
of a different squadron.
So, how did you find out each of you were there?
Well, we were just taking it easy after supper one night, and he came walking down the alleyway.
Okay. And here's your theater you talked about.
Yeah, there's seats in our theater made out of 50 caliber ammunition cans.
Ammunition cans, or cases for ammunition? Wood cases?
Wood cases.
Okay.
It had a wood box with a metal lining in it.
Do you remember where that was? On that hill?
Someplace up in New Guinea, and halfway up in New Guinea.
So not in Port Moresby, up on the North Shore someplace? You don't remember where this chapel was?
It wasn't New Guinea, but
Okay. Port Moresby? Well, how long did you keep your mustache? And then playing on some 50-gallon oil drums or gas drums, or
gas drums.
and a P-51. Those stripes were European type stripes, weren't they? Or did that come after the war in Europe was over?
Well, we had painters,
Uh-huh.
had a painter in our outfit that did the painting, you know,
Okay.
with insignias and
So this is your boneyard?
just the boneyard, that's all. Every airfield had the boneyard.
Broken parts, broken planes? Was this right after that attack in Port Moresby that time?
No, I think that was up at Hollandia.
Hollandia?
Yeah. Up on the upper tip of New Guinea.
Okay.
There's Pinky Benedict.
Picky. So is that an A-20?
Yeah. There's after the big raid on April 12th.
43? It'd have to be 43, because
Yeah,
you were
43.
just in Australia in 42. What airfield were you at? Which 7 Mile, or you remember? There's a whole bunch up there.
14 mile.
14 Mile? But your group got really kind of caught on the ground on that one, right? Or you
Yeah.
lost all your planes, or some of your planes?
We
Or?
got hit hard.
Uh-huh.
Burned about 3 of them and wrecked the rest, so they couldn't fly them.
So they went to the boneyard then?
Well, the headquarters outfit took them over. And
Basically, the plane just burned down and all that's left is motor?
yeah,
So the aluminum, once it starts burning,
aluminum burns like the dickens.
Really?
No.
and once it's starting, I suppose you can hardly turn it off.
See the bullet holes in it?
Is that from the bullets or from the cannon? Because I know the Japanese had cannon. Probably didn't
There was
make it.
shrapnel flying around.
Well, was it? And this is your plane, right?
Yeah. You can see the oil and the gasoline.
Uh-huh.
Got bullet holes up in.
Yeah. And that was Baby Blitz?
Yep.
And that was the one that you had started with in Charters Towers in Australia, right? Or was it a different plane at that point?
After we got to New Guinea, I guess.
And then you said you took cover someplace back behind the...
Yeah, we sat in a trench back over in here, this area here someplace.
Lose any personnel on the raid?
No, that's the funny part. We had one casualty,
Uh-huh.
and he was a Italian with coal black hair, and he got a rip through his scalp,
With shrapnel?
shrapnel.
Okay. So you just lost planes
Yeah,
and other material. And now this says Baby Blitz 2, so was that also a B-25 or
replacement.
replacement? And there you're on the tail of a B-25?
Yeah,
And who's that?
that's the guy that became my assistant
Okay.
later on.
So that's an A-20, isn't it, or is that a B-25?
That's an A-20.
Okay, so they had one rear turret, no belly gun then? No. And you covered them up like that when they were on the ground all the time, protect from rain, and I suppose it protected the plexiglass too. Now you're in the pilot seat, or is that the co-pilot seat of the Baby Blitz?
That would be the pilot seat.
And so you ran the engines up and made sure everything ran correctly before you handed it over to the pilot?
Yep.
Did they also do their own checks then?
Well, they took it for granted everything was working.
Okay. There's a crane on a
Yeah,
Caterpillar type.
Cleatrack we had.
Cleatrack?
Yeah.
Cleatrack? So is this someone you know, or was this one of the
That's Don Fisher.
doing a little reading?
Yeah, that's an assistant.
So can you tell if that's an A-20 or a B-25?
It's an A-20.
B-25 had wing racks like that, or they weren't that far outboard?
B-25 set up higher
Oh, okay. Did it have a bigger propeller then?
a little bit. It's sitting up in the,
Right behind the pilot seat?
you know,
Was it only 2 people that flew in those planes? So,
just the pilot and the gunner.
was he also radio operator, or was pilot radio operator?
Pilot was radio operator.
At the home farm, right?
That's the day I left for the service,
Okay. What day was that?
February 1st of 42.
Okay. So that was less than 2 months after the start of the war.
There's a company street.
Okay. And then the big trenches, I suppose you had to have when it was rainy season, huh? And then there's,
There's the beach landing.
okay. So did the truck with the picture of the Grim Reaper always go first?
No.
Oh.
It just happened to,
Happened to have his picture?
yeah. There's the same,
It's the same place?
I think there's an LST or something there in the corner.
Yeah, you're right there. You can barely see it. I think you said this was either Ley or Leahy. Can you... And Ley was held by the Japanese for quite a while, wasn't it?
We were fighting over that.
You were sending planes over the mountain range in
Yeah.
New Guinea.
There's the ordnance crew loading bombs.
So can you tell what kind of plane that was?
That might be a B-25.
A little higher? Oh, you've lost your mustache. That's a pretty clean picture, that one is.
Dirty coveralls.
Ah, you've been working. Picture you sent home to prove that you actually worked?
I don't know if
This was on the back of one of the pictures. It's a sensor stamp. Passed by sensor, it says, number 29. So were you showing off your tan here?
I suppose. Showing off our hooch.
Your hooch collection? Yeah, but you all got Grim Reaper jackets on. Look pretty serious. Is that Don Fisher too?
That's Fred.
How about this guy?
Also, Troy Goodman.
Troy Goodman. So American hooch or Australian hooch or any hooch you could get?
Anything you get.
Okay. So what were these, Australian beers?
Australian beer.
And then you said that was a 75mm shell?
I forget what the, I don't know how it got to be in the picture either.
Or was there hooch hidden in the shell? There's another picture of you in front of a banana tree. You're pretty serious. Shaving in a bucket. So did you ever have a camp with running water? Or always carry your own water, or?
Water tank that would have to be filled every morning.
Okay.
Out of a mountain stream.
And so they brought the tank to each one of your separate camps then?
Leave crew.
Okay, do you know where that was?
I think in Innisfail, Australia.
Looks like a pretty good sized town. Is that one of your crew? Is that...
He was a cook.
Oh, it was a cook.
Henry Blinson from down in Sparta, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. And there's your formal, you said you took that in San Francisco before you left. There's another A20. P42?
47.
P47, yeah.
Control tower on there.
Okay. With a A20 with, was it some covers on the guns sticking out the nose? Is that what?
Could be. It was a Houston County gang that
Okay.
left.
You were all going to the army at that point? Okay. More A20s from the back. That'd be a B-25 then. Remember who he was? Do you recognize him or just
Read somebody.
read somebody? That was a picture of a pass to Manila. That's it. That's the end.